Hello, my name is Angela Panucci, and with our group is Veronica Slover, Nicole Grubmeyer, Corey Moorbacher, and Seneca Lajani, and we reviewed the book, The Future of Management by Gary Hamel. I'm going to begin by giving some details about the author, and then the rest of the group is going to continue with details about each section of the book. Gary Hamel is currently visiting professor of strategic and international management at London Business School. He has been working to build the world's first management lab called the M Lab. He has written for Wall Street Journal, Fortune, Financial Times, and many other publications in the last 20 years. He has also authored 15 articles for Harvard Business Review. He has worked for businesses such as GE, Time Warner, Nokia, Shell, Procter & Gamble, IBM, and Microsoft. I'm now going to turn it over to Veronica for the section 2, Why Management Innovation Matters.
The end of management. What does the future of management look like? How will tomorrow's most successful companies be organized and managed? Management has had little change throughout centuries. Modern management has given much, but has also taken much, and it continues to do so. Hamel wants us to learn how to coordinate the efforts of thousands of individuals without creating a hierarchy of overseers. New realities such as adapting to a new world, internet shifting power, strategic life cycles shrinking, changing leadership's hands often, and deregulation reducing barriers for a wide variety of industries needs organizational and managerial change to thrive in everyday changing world. Companies must become strategically adaptable as they are operationally efficient. By doing this, they must think outside the box and inspire employees for new innovation. Hamel wants us to think differently. Create innovation as units instead of an organization from top down. Call your associates a team or members. Encourage them to change. The ultimate advantage. Hamel explains that he wants to see managers take on the challenge of reinventing management. Management innovation pays and creates competitive advantage for business, companies, and corporations. I'll first explain what management innovation is. Hamel states that management innovation is anything that substantially alters the way in which the work of management is carried out or significantly modifies customary organizational forms, and by doing so, advances organizational goals. The power of management innovation is driven by competitive advantage. Hamel studied the shift of change in management in several corporations, and these corporations are the leading industries in their fields. For example, Procter & Gamble, DuPont, General Electric, and now Toyota. It is the way these companies are managed as why they are so successful. An agenda for management innovation. Be bold. Set the pace of strategic renewal in your organization. Make innovation everyone's job. Create an engaging work environment that inspires employees to give their best. There are some challenges that present themselves. Too much management, there's too little freedom. Too much hierarchy, there's too little community. You have to overcome denial. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Nicole. She's going to discuss management innovation in action.
In the second section of Gary Hamel's book, he goes into management in action, and he actually shows 3 companies that are already moving forward into the future of management. First is Whole Foods Market. It's a natural supermarket, and the lesson to take is principles matter. CEO John Mackey stated his intention from the beginning was to create an organization based on love, not fear. Employees at Whole Foods ultimately decide who is hired and also are responsible for operating decisions, including pricing, ordering, staffing, and in-store promotion. Freedom matched by a high level of accountability ensures that associates use their discretionary decision-making power in ways that drive the business forward. Second is W. L. Gore and Associates. Wilbur L. Gore left DuPont after a 17-year career to start a company with his own ideals. Something to take from this company is no bosses, but plenty of leaders. Associates become leaders when their peers judge them as such. Only about 10% of associates have this designation. And since a team is also free to fire its chief, peer-chosen leaders must continually re-earn the allegiance of their colleagues to retain authority. And third, last but not least, is Google. Google is organized much like the internet. It's highly democratic, tightly connected, and flat. Google exercises the following follow your nose policy. Every developer is free to devote up to 20% of his or her time to non-core initiatives. This ensures no one has to leave to pursue any personal passion, and more than half of the company's new product launches traced back their roots to a 20% project. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Corey, who is going to talk to you about imaging the future.
Okay, part 3 is imagining the future, and that's pretty much where he goes into different tactics and techniques you can use to achieve innovation. Alright, first one is you're going to have to address dogmas and precedents. Those are the old world models, things that came from the 20th century that have still stuck around and are basically the dinosaurs. You need to get rid of them or address them and find out what's usable, which is where the outside ideas comes in, because they bring fresh ideas to the work environment where you can change, adapt, and make them work for you in the best way possible. The next way is freedom and discipline can go hand in hand. Now this is taking a deeper look at things, because we're going to go back to the Whole Foods example that Nicole did earlier. And that is pretty much where the frontline managers, the ones at the very bottom, are the ones who are in control of what they sell, pricing, everything Nicole said before. That creates a sense of, this is mine, we know what we have to do, we're the ones responsible for it. That ties into what benefits and compensation they get, because they have access to real-time data on how other stores, their department is doing in those stores. Now, if they're not up to par, if they're slacking, then well, they're not going to get as much money, they're not going to get bonuses or anything like that. So that's why it creates a competitive environment for them to become creative and actually want to achieve different things. Now, there's 5 design rules you can use for future companies of management that are coming around, or for the older companies that have been around for a while to actually change and adapt to. All right, the first one is life equals variety. All right, now life it's all about evolution, mutations, selection process, and a bigger gene pool. You want to get as much as you can get in there, so that way you can have different ideas going around and creativity, so you can get the best of the best. The next one is going to be markets equal flexibility. Now markets, they attract innovators. They love it because anything is possible in a market. It can go up, it can go down, it can go side to side. It doesn't matter, because markets are there for our innovators, so they can flex their creativity and they can just do whatever they want to do to get the best out of them. All right, next one is democracy. That equals activism. Why? Because then people can get involved. The more people you have involved, they're actually creative, actually want to make a difference, or actually want to find a better process of doing things, the better it's going to be for you, because the more ideas are going to come around and people can get on board with that. Next one, faith equals meaning. That's going to go back to the meaning world. Everyone's got to change for something, because if people don't care about it, then they're not going to want to change it. So you got to find something that they care about that you can actually bring into the core, because if they don't want to change, if that doesn't matter to them, they're not going to want to do it. They're just going to be slackers and be like, no, it doesn't matter to me, and move on. The last one is cities equal serendipity. Now this is great. Classic examples are New York and San Francisco. You have all kinds of cultures there because they're ports of access for immigrants to come in. Prime examples. They have different cultures, different ideas. Basically, it's diversity, and that brings all kinds of innovation and creativity to your work environment, to your management, and that's what you need to have in there, because then the more you have of that, the better it's going to be. All right, now the next part are the 6 challenges for keeping it out of counterproductive turf, because with all things I just said, it's very easy to get out there and just go on a tangent and actually forget what you're trying to do, or the focus of the entire project. Now what you want to try and do is democracy ideas. That's where certain ideas get funneled out and certain ideas are actually promoted higher up. And the amplifying human imagination, that is where you give the creative people the leeway of flexibility so they can actually be flexible. Now, the next one is relocating resources. Now, if you have a group of people, a team that is awesome, and they're just creating all kinds of ideas and making everything better processes, then you want to give them more leeway and more power. Now, collective wisdom. You want to get all those people who are creative. You don't want to stifle them on a team where it's not like creative at all and they're just pretty much pent up in a closet. You want to put them all together so that way they can all help each other and they can expand and grow their ideas. Minimizing the drag of old models. Like I said, the dinosaurs, they gotta go. If they ain't got nothing useful, then you gotta get rid of them. And then everyone has a chance to opt in. That's the key part right there, because if people buy into it, then they actually want to keep it going and actually keep it creative and relevant. And then I'm going to turn it over to part 4, which is building the future of management with Seneca.
In part 4 of the book, Hamel talks about how becoming a management innovator is essential to the future of your organization and its management. He says that if you can accomplish this, you will build an organization that is prepared for the extraordinary opportunities that lie ahead. Hamel gives us 10 lessons learned through the examples of IBM and Best Buy. For IBM, they were experiencing a problem with growth initiatives that were simply falling through the cracks and being forgotten. Then Chairman Lou Gerstner was very dissatisfied with the results and wanted something done about it and the problem solved. In 2000, he organized a team of top executives and had them look into the problem and offer extensive research to get the results he was requesting. Through this, IBM developed an EBO process, or Emerging Business Opportunities, in which one line manager was assigned a new initiative, and then he was responsible for staffing, funding, and monitoring this initiative to its final end. In the program's first 5 years, 22 new businesses succeeded and were delivering $15 billion in annual revenues by the end of 2005. From this example, we get our first 5 lessons learned. To tackle a systemic problem, you need to understand its deep roots. It's easier to augment than supplant. Commit to revolutionary goals, but take evolutionary steps. Metrics are essential, and keep at it. For Best Buy, their marketing department was facing a problem of sales not meeting their monthly forecasts. Marketing Vice President Jeff Severts decided to look into the problem, but rather than involving his own department to get the same old data, he decided to send it out to the entire company and make a game out of it by offering a $50 gift card for the person who came in the closest with their guess of next month's sales. The responses were well received, and Severts was able to diagnose the problem without having to have an extensive plan or research. The next 5 lessons learned are: minimize your political risk, start with volunteers, make it a game and keep it informal, run the new process in parallel with the old, and always reiterate, if it works, it will work again. And for our conclusion, I'll turn it back over to Angela.
That concludes our review of The Future of Management by Gary Hamel. If interested in our presentation, other books we suggest are Leading the Revolution and Competing for the Future. Thank you for listening.
Yay! I did better the first time.